We actually have a special birthday guy. I'm trying to figure out if he's going to be on. So, Mary Catherine Ewan's son, Jackson, which is our skinny drop button seller of the year. Um, he love that, love him. So he turns 12 today. So hopefully, I'm trying to get him on the coach's corner so we can embarrass him and sing happy birthday. So, all right, we'll see. So the definition today, and here is the word. Don't raise your hand when I ask you this, but have you ever said, man, that was a foolish behavior to yourself? Okay. I've never done that. Okay. Just so everybody knows. But if you look at the definition of foolish, and this was requested by Hill Blue, he must have done something this week to Diane and said, you know what? I need to study this word. Just kidding, Hill. So the definition is, let's see, foolish means lacking good sense or judgment, acting in a way that isn't wise or thoughtful. So it just means that in the moment, you acted without thinking things through. Have you ever done that? Let me tell you, my dad always told me, he said, son, if you're going to be not very smart, you better be tough. He might not have said it exactly that way. I'm trying to tone it down a little bit. But I've lived my life going, sometimes I act without the most thoughtful process in mind, right? Um, it's driven a lot of times when I look at myself, it's like driven by impulse. Is any of you an impulse person? Like it's driven by impulse. My notes keep so thanks, Andrea. So it's emotions, impulse. It's all kind of messes up with my that turns back to being foolish, right? Because I'm just acting without thinking. And so that is where I'm at this morning when I look at the word. I think recognizing for me foolish behaviors is the key step to personal growth. I see it all the time. I want to share a quick story with you, okay? So in 2019, we sold our company. It was hard. Talking about personal, like business. It was hard. And I found myself being very irritable. I found myself being I'm now in a new company, but I want my old company here acting as the new company, right? Like, does that make sense? Like, my old ways was affecting my new ways. So my programming was, I want it this way. Well, that way you sold. Now I've got to embrace the new. And it was really an irritable, emotional time for me. And I found myself like before I had some awareness, I found myself being very reactive, like, and then having to go back and apologize. And so I'm going to read you some signs I came up with during this time for me. During this time, I reacted instead of reflecting first. So I challenge you, like, think about yourself, like where you're at right now. We're talking about foolish behaviors. I'm talking about myself. I'm throwing myself under the bus. I would react without reflecting. What does that mean? When something didn't go my way, rather than thinking about the solutions or who I need to reach out to that could solve the problem, I just reacted with force because of the past. Because I'm mad because I'm having to do this now and it's new. I also really got away from wise counsel during that time. And I had to come back to the counsel. Who in your life is your wise counsel that you can go to and go, man, this is going on. How should I handle it? And signs that I was acting foolish is I kept making the same mistakes over and over and over, right? So the same situations kept burning me. And here was the situation for me. I was reacting without reflecting. That was it for me. Like it was like I was a ready, shoot, aim for everything. And sometimes you got to sit down, move out a time during the day that you can reflect so that you can get better. I say you got to slow down to speed up. And that has been a challenge for me. So here was another one for me. During that time, and it was a sign for acting foolish. You care more about being right than than creating something special. So my pride was getting in the way so many times. Well, that's not how we did it. That's not how it operated. And I was letting my pride and my ego really affect me. And so I challenge all of us to look at the signs in ourselves. So I'm just, as I turn it to Andrea, when we look at the word foolish, and thank you, Hill, for this, here's a reflection point. Ask ourselves these questions. Am I reacting or responding after reflecting? Am I coming to the table with solutions of here's what I think we need to do? Or am I coming to the table with pointing fingers? Because I did a lot of finger pointing. And then I seek counsel, and it's like, ask myself this question. Am I avoiding what the counsel's telling me? If there's people surrounding me with wisdom, am I avoiding their wisdom, or am I playing, like putting it into play? And the last reflection question is my ego louder than my wisdom right now? And I want to tell you, ego is a tough thing. It is a tough thing. We almost have to pray to suppress the ego every day of our life because it can really affect us with pride and all this stuff. So I challenge all of us, even though foolish would be deemed as a negative word, it is a word that if we know kind of the red lights of being foolish, should come off. If somebody comes to me today and says, I got this awesome real estate deal, rather than jumping into it, I should listen, walk away, reflect, look at it, look at the numbers, see if it works out, then come back and let them know my response rather than just like, okay, let's go, right? Take counsel on those things. So, Andrea, I'll turn it to you.
Well, great lesson, coach. And all I can think of is, is this Hill third party coaching us? Like, is he saying, Andrea, you're so foolish. You need to learn a little bit more about the word, but I'm going to try not to read into that too deeply, Hill. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. So, what I looked into today is how to be less foolish because listening to coaches' notes and, all of that, it's like, well, yeah, oh, relatable, oh, done that, right? There's been a million times when I'm like, well, that was probably a pretty dang foolish thing to do, say all of that. So,
Andrea,
yeah.
can I say one last thing that's bugging me?
Yes.
Say, during that time, too, I'm throwing myself under the bus. And maybe this will relate to some of you. I had grown a sizable business with a sizable downline. And when we saw, I had to almost start with again with one, right? One person. And a lot of times I was telling myself, oh, I'm too big of a deal to do that, right? I'm just being honest. And sometimes that's a foolish behavior. It's not sometimes, that's a foolish behavior. Go back to the grassroots, lock arms with one, run with one. So, Andrea, I had that in my notes. I'm like, I got to share that before we get on.
Well, I'm glad that you did. I'm glad that you did. So, okay, now we're going to look into how to not do that, right? How can we be less foolish? So, first of all, take that pause. We all know in like a heated moment, and well, maybe you guys don't have this. Most of my thinking happens out here. Like the words are already out of my mouth, they've already been said, and then I'm trying to pull them back in, right? Because that was not probably the wisest thing to say. So if we can pause before we act and we ask ourselves in that moment, is this going to help me or hurt me in the long run? Is this going to move me closer to my goals or farther from my goals? Is this going to help this relationship, hurt this relationship? Just pause and ask yourself a question before you act as often as you can. Next is to actually, this is a crazy one, actually listen to good advice. We get good advice all the time. We get bad advice all the time too, right? But we get great advice every single day. And sometimes we get a little bit annoyed by it, right? Somebody's bringing us wisdom, and we're like that little kid. We want to kick our feet because we don't necessarily want to hear it in that moment because it's not what we want to do. It's just not tapping into what we're feeling at that moment. So sometimes that truth can sound annoying, but it's there to help us. So listen to that good advice. A third is to own our own mistakes. It's not foolish to mess up. It's human, right? I think as far as I know, everybody's on here is human. And we are going to stumble, we're going to trip, we're going to fall, we're going to do ridiculous things. That is just part of the human condition. I think Eric put it in the chat. So, what we can do is own up to it. What is foolish is when we pretend that we didn't make the mistake, when we pretend that it didn't happen, or we try to justify, or whatever it can look like when we did make a foolish decision. So, own those mistakes. And with that, number four is to learn from the past. Because guess what that does? We don't have to keep tripping over the same life lesson. We can actually learn. I think sometimes I feel a little like I feel a little bad because I think that my guardian angel is like, oh my goodness, are we really doing this again? Right? Are we really, is this really what you're choosing at this moment? So I have to remember that I can learn from my lessons. So figure out when, own that mistake and then reflect on it. Learn from the thing that I'm doing wrong. Next is to don't follow the crowd. So just because everyone's doing it, right? What did we say to our kids? I think I said this to a kid recently. If everybody was jumping off a cliff, would you too? And it's kind of the universal parent line. My parents said it to me, maybe your parents said it to you, but it's kind of true, right? Where just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean that it's smart. So maybe you see some trends going on, and we can, we are also herd animals, right? Like we want to go with the pack, but sometimes in order to not be foolish, we've got to step away and think for ourselves and realize that maybe that's not the best decision for us. Next is to ask questions when we're unsure. Being curious is wise. Pretending that you know what the other person's talking about or what's going on shows that we're being foolish, right? So be brave enough to ask those questions. And then lastly, if we really want to be less foolish, surround ourselves with wise people. Because guess what? Their habits, their mindset is going to rub off on us and we can get a little bit wiser. So this was a good one, Hill. Thank you for it. We're not going to take it personally. But Coach, did you see that Jackson is listening in?
We have Jackson, a new 12-year-old young man that his birthday is today. So we're going to end today. Jackson, we hope you have the most amazing day ever. Andrew, a great word. Hill, thank you for the word. Guys, have an amazing weekend. We love you so much. So thankful for this community. Jackson, it's all about you today. Make that mother spoil you birthday today. Hey, happy
Happy
birthday.
Happy
birthday to
birthday.
you.
Happy birthday, Jackson.
Happy
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 birthday
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 to
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 you.
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 Happy
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 birthday,
birthday,
dear
dear
Jackson.
Jackson.
birthday. Happy
birthday to
Happy
you.
Friday.
Happy birthday, Jackson.
Happy
Friday.
You guys.
Happy birthday, Jackson. Happy birthday,
Yeah,
buddy.
thank you.
Happy birthday.
The singing director.
Happy birthday, Jackson.
Love you
Indeed,
guys.
man.
Have